press release, the government of the Rwandan people operating from exile, in its cabinet meeting, which was held this last Sunday on October 8, 2023, after re-examining with exceptional meticulousness and thoroughness Rwanda's distant and recent history, which shows that the Rwandan Patriotic Front Inkotanyi's single-party government has restored a regime similar to that of federal monarchy, under which Rwandan citizens have once again been reduced to the state of bondage, submissive body and soul, to the ruling class. That many Rwandan people have been subjected to unacceptable injustices, recurring assassinations, alarming disappearances, arbitrary imprisonments, unjust confiscation of property and goods, wild destruction of homes, uprooting of food crops, and other similar wrongdoings, which demonstrate that Rwandans have been deprived of almost all their fundamental rights. Considering that the country's economy has literally collapsed due to a series of inappropriate political decisions that have undermined overall economic development, and that is added the RPF Inkotanyi's political will to impoverish the great majority of Rwandan people and ensuring that all wealth and primary sources of income are concentrated in the hands of a small gang very close to the dictator Paul Kagame. Considering that young people who are indeed the Rwanda of tomorrow are gravely depressed because of systematic harassment and open discrimination they suffer, on which is added the fact that no coherent policy has been put in place to give young people hope for a better future. Considering that all organs of justice have been transformed by the RPF Inkotanyi gang into a tool of corruption, injustice, oppression, and reducing to silence. Having noted the fact that the security services, which are supposed to protect citizens, have been transformed into instruments of terror and violence that destabilize Rwandans both inside the country and abroad, where they have sought refuge. Having detected the cataclysm which our country may face as a result of the very bad relations between the leaders of the Rwandan Patriotic Front in Inkotanyi and the neighboring countries, mainly due to the incessant rebel attacks by Paul Kagame's army, which are carried out with the aim of destabilizing existing regimes, exterminating their populations, and plundering their natural resources, as is the case in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Having noted that the dictatorial regime of RPF Inkotanyi, for fear of democracy, continues to mobilize the political space, harassing, imprisoning, and assassinating many political actors, members of opposition, and forcing others into exile, openly acting against the Constitution of the Republic of Rwanda and other laws in order to maintain itself in power forever by force. Having clearly noted that President Paul Kagame has abandoned his duties as head of state for 3 years for reasons that have never been announced to the public, that some of these duties are usually reserved by the Constitution to the President of the Republic, are illegally exercised by the Prime Minister, Edouard Ngirente. And to that is added a bundle of indicators with the nature to prove that the supreme authority has been taken hostage by criminals and evildoers who are not yet identified, using it very often in diverse ways and manners for their selfish gains. Having noted the lack of any political determination to redress the situation and correct the abnormalities and grave dysfunctions at the top of the state for a quick reinstatement of constitutional order so desired by the people. The government of the Rwandan people operating from exile has formulated the following resolutions. It considers elections to remain a good opportunity for people to use as an alternation susceptible to replace bad governance with the new leaders adept to better protect true interests of the people. In order to help Rwandan people to come out of confusion, it has decided to actively participate in the elections scheduled in 2024 and to do everything possible to shatter all obstacles to the electoral process established by the Rwandan Patriotic Front in order that the elections can be held with transparency. It appoints and announces to the public that Padri Thomas Nahimana, its current president, its candidate for the post of President of the Republic. It nominates a campaign committee designed to assist the candidate in this election campaign. And members of that committee are Ms. Christiane Wizera, coordinator of the committee, Mr. Jean Bosco Twishirehamwe, Ms. Felicite Mwemayire, Mr. Theobald Gakwaya Rwaka, Ms. Jeanne Mukamurenzi, Mr. Justin Safari. The date of arrival in Rwanda for candidate President Padri Thomas Nahimana will be announced shortly. The government of the Rwandan people operating from exile exhorts the population to take its courage by two hands and overcome chains of paralyzing fear skillfully maintained by the RPF in Kotanyi, to follow up closely all activities that are related to 2024 elections, to detect and denounce without delay the unacceptable maneuvers that the RPF in Kotanyi gang utilizes to rig and steal votes or to harm other candidates, to participate in initiatives aimed at putting pressure on the RPF in Kotanyi to open up the political space and release all activists, politicians, journalists, and the many citizens unjustly imprisoned in order to recover the right to participate in electing worthy leaders, to go to polling stations in great numbers on the D-Day in order to make effective the revolutionary change they are longing for. The government of the Rwandan people operating from exile demands the RPF in Kotanyi's army and other security services to renew their oath of loyalty to the nation, in remembering that defending the integrity of the territory is also siding with the will of the people, which is sovereignly expressed at the occasion of fair and transparent election, to give up damned custom of betraying the people in order to defend the interest of selfish, crooked leaders. The government of the Rwandan people operating from exile calls upon the government of Rwandan Patriotic Front in Kotanyi, RPF in Kotanyi, to remove all insane restrictions imposed on opposition candidates, to issue Rwandan passports to candidates and their teams who are abroad who wish to go back to their country, to start discussions with candidates in order to agree on the list of the members of the National Electoral Commission, more just and independent. The government of the Rwandan people operating from exile calls upon neighboring countries and countries that are friends of Rwanda to monitor very closely these elections that are going to be held in Rwanda in 2024, to provide the government of the Rwandan people operating from exile and the Rwandan people with all possible support so that these elections can be transparent and peaceful, to contribute to the preservation of the victory of the Rwandan people that will result from these elections. Done in Paris on October 10th, 2023. Made public by Mr. Joseph Nahayo, Minister in charge of activities of cabinet meeting in the President's office. Read by Maître Prudence Kanhengwa, Minister of Foreign Affairs in the government of the Rwandan people operating from exile. Thank you.